Hi folks, this is Meredith from the Papery Craftery, and this is week 3 of my month-long holiday quilling series. Today we're going to be making mini snowy evergreen trees. So with my paper here, I have this light brown from Quilled Creations, I have some bright white from Quilled Creations, and I also have holiday green from Craft Harbor. I've been using that a lot lately, it's been showing up everywhere. For glue, I'm going to be using some tacky glue and also some of my Elmer's glue in my needle nose container. I will definitely recommend that you do use a work board covered in some kind of smooth paper like parchment or wax paper, because we're going to be putting these together with our pins in some places. Needle tool or slotted tool will work fine. And then also you're going to want to have a pair of tweezers. Might not be a bad idea. To start off with, we're going to be using our holiday green, and I'm keeping this as is. The length of these strips when you get them is about 24 inches, and I'm keeping them about that long. And what I'm going to do is roll up this strip all the way from end to end. And because it is so long, it's going to get a little tricky to roll up on the needle tool here, so I am probably gonna have to take it off the tool and finish it by hand for the last couple of turns. Now, the process for making these trees is we're making 2 levels of branches. These 2 pieces that I have here are going to be the topmost level of branches, the peak of the tree. So what I did, rolled it all the way up, let it relax just a little bit, not looking for too much of an open coil here, and then glue down the end. If you opened your coil more, your trees would just be a little bit bigger. But I'm looking for sort of a compact shape here. So I opened it up a little bit, and then I'm making a really, really exaggerated curved teardrop. So after pinching one end, I find it's most effective to kind of wrap it around the handle of a tool, and pinching real hard just on that top peak there gives it kind of a real swoopiness to it. And then with the second strip here, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. But we can move along. We don't need to watch that. Same process. So these 2 pieces here are going to be my topmost branches on my tree. But like we said before, this is going to be a snowy evergreen tree. So with the bright white, I rip off about 6 inches or so. You can do a little bit less if you'd like. Roll that up end to end. Let that relax a little bit. And then glue down the end for that. And then once I have that set, we're going to do a similar shape, a real good pinch, and then a smaller curve. You shouldn't need to break out the tool for this one, but you can if you find out that it's not working. Either way will be fine. Notice I didn't really put too much effort into that. But if you find it's not curving at all, don't be afraid to grab some help. And this is going to sort of sit on our branch, right in the curve there. That is going to be sort of the snow that is melting on the branch. This might be one of those trust the process kind of crafts, but when it comes together, it really does look like an evergreen tree that is starting to melt a little bit. The snow is starting to come off just a little bit. So with some tacky glue, I get that set up right on the curve. And you can also bend both of those around to keep them in the same kind of arc. But that is about what you're looking for. Notice it's coming up off the end on the rounded pieces. They're not completely glued to each other. Makes it look much more 3-dimensional that way. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side of that branch, that second branch. So I have both of those there with both of their little snow caps on them. And then we're going to glue those together for the peak of our tree. I like to kind of offset them a little bit so it really, it looks a little bit more natural. This is where the pins will come in handy. It's going to be tricky to get these as close together as you're going to need to without using pins. If you'd like to hold them the whole time, by all means. But I've said before, sometimes when you get these curved shapes, the quilling likes to kind of repel away from each other. They just sort of bounce away and separate. So kind of pinning them together is going to help them stay in that shape that you just made. Now we're going to make 3 branches on the bottom. This is very similar, except those coils are made of smaller or shorter pieces, I should say, of quilling paper. Those 3 branches on the bottom, instead of being 24 inches, are about 18 inches. And notice I only have 2 more snowy bits. I'm not going to be doing one in the center. I do have one to show at the end of this video where it has a little bit of snow in the center branch, and I think it looks, I don't know, it doesn't look right, but I wanted to show that option as well because people may have a different opinion than I do. So here I am attaching the snow in the same way to each side branch of the bottom row. A little bit of tacky glue, this time just by using my needle tool so I don't get too much on there. You can use a toothpick, something like that if you'd like to. It does help apply glue in a smaller way. Once those are set, we can start putting our branches together and complete our tree. This comes together super, super fast. Here you go. Those are most of the tree pieces we have already. Now it's time to just get them where we need them to go. And I would definitely keep the pins in the top part, but I would grab a couple more and apply some glue wherever the branches are going to meet each other. I'm doing the 2 outside branches first. A little bit of glue on the top part there where it's going to hit the branch above it, and then some glue on either side of this bottom piece here, and then really just kind of push it up in there. I want this to be sort of solid in the center. You can see it's sort of pushing away from that idea, so that's where the pins come in. Apply some more pins and just get them to set in right in the middle there, so it's completely full and looks like a very full evergreen tree. That should be good for now. And then the last part that we need to do is make a little tree trunk, and that is where that light brown comes in. I have about 5 inches here of the light brown, and I'm going to roll it up all the way end to end. And then I'm making a square from this, but sort of messing with one side of it so it really fits up against my branches. So to make a square, you start with a coil, just like most other quilling, and let that open up and glue the end down. And then you're going to pinch 2 sides, 2 opposite sides to start with, and then turn and pinch the other 2 sides. So that's your square. And then I'm kind of pushing on one side and pushing it in a little bit to kind of make sort of a dip in the center. And it's okay if you lose a bit of your square shape here, but you kind of want that dip because that's what's going to go right up against that bottom branch and sit right in there. If it was a straight across square, it wouldn't fit in exactly the right way. So there we go. That's what we're looking for. A little bit of glue on that dip. And then it just needs to sit right on the bottom of our tree. There you go. And then that just needs to dry. These, again, so simple. The crafts this year are super fast and super simple. So you can make a little forest with your trees. You could make them smaller. Here's the one I was talking about with an extra snowy branch. It's up to you. I think I like the look without it. You can add little bows to them. I have a whole video on how to make mini bows and angels. I'm going to link that in the description box for this video. You can put these on gift tags or cards, or you can even make little ornaments out of them if you use the hangers like I showed last week. But for these mini trees, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. Look in the description box for links to all the supplies that I used. Don't forget to look there as well for the link to my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can find some quilling extras. And you'll also want to like and subscribe because I do still have one more week of holiday crafts this year coming out, so you don't want to miss that. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.